Okay, remember that they are changing my voice. First of all, I'd like to say that after you're done watching this video, which should be maybe 7 minutes or less, you'll have no doubt in your mind that attractive females are crazy if they don't submit. That's what this video is about. My official stance on attractive females submitting to me, and I'm going to try to keep this short, and I might add another part later. Also, because of the nature of people, right? The traditionalists, hate groups, people in the Klan, what have you, political groups, rockers, lesbians, what have you. The vast majority of people, if they heard this message, would not obey God through me. So you need to understand that people who are trying to suppress this just want to make my life hard and keep decent people from connecting to God and going to heaven. And that this is not about, controlling the direction of this nation. I do not intend to have any children. In fact, I'm sure I'll never have any children. Okay. Point number 1. Anyone who does not obey God through me should not have sex, date, or be in a marriage, etc. After I die, no one should do any of those things. Okay? We'll get to that if we have time. Point number 2. I put God and true love first, especially when it comes to dating. Now here's where it gets a little tricky. Okay? I'm not a virgin, and I'm right to not be. And that's a whole nother story for another day. I'm going to try to limit the scope here. Okay? But point number 3. Any time that I settled, I was catfish first. Okay? I was lonely and sabotaged while psyops were run on me. Okay. This is key here. I'm a member of the gender with the higher sex drive. Males have a higher sex drive than females, generally speaking. And I'm the most romantic person ever possible using a universal scale. All the arrangements I had, dating, whatever, with those females, okay, I did as the king of kings, universally speaking. And that means in reality, logically in reality. And everything is mine anyway. And attractive females were denying me the right, okay, to assert my moral authority as Mr. Right on the right path doing the right thing while they're dating people who conform to an evil world run by mass murderers, mass rapists, organized drug dealers, idolaters, human traffickers, child molesters, domestic violence, covert drugging, mass drugging, what have you. They're dating people who are on board with that, who are part of the structure for that, the infrastructure of that. They're part and parcel. They're complicit. They're slacking their work, so they're brother to one who destroys. So any settling I did with that considered, and I foresaw that attractive females were going to shun me in the future, and I was right. I'm 42 years old, and I'm still not married. I haven't even been on a date in like 6 years. 6 years. That's how right I was. So there's a difference between that and the mistakes that attractive females are making when it comes to dating. That's key in point 3. If you have any questions, put in the comments. Point number 4. The females who rate in attraction, okay, give or take from 7 to 10, using a universal scale, what most guys would agree on, okay, with a special consideration to qualities that go beyond Belle in Beauty and the Beast, right? Very, very considerate, kind-hearted, gentle, sensitive, graceful, what have you. Maybe people are more like that. They all put their mere and pitiful selfish emotions, and at times their kids that they're raising to be evil, okay, first. They all put their petty emotions, which includes their children at times, because you should not put your children before God and before God's Son, especially if you're outside of the divine order. That's not love, that's illness. Okay? You're raising them to follow the pedophiles in charge and the people who are in hopeless submission to the pedophiles and their allies in charge. And if you need me to prove that there's a bunch of pedophiles and their allies in the governing class, you must have been born yesterday. Okay? This has been proven. This has been proven, more than just speculation about Prince Andrew or Epstein. I mean, the evidence is overwhelming. Go look up the evidence of child molestation statistics and realize that child molestation is a culture that thrives in the current cultural mixture that we have. It affects all races, okay? It's certain group heavy, right? We see it more in churches and in secret societies and Boy Scouts, but it's in every race and culture but mine, basically, okay, in various forms. This is key here, okay? They put that first. They put dating people like that and raising their kids to be in a culture that allows for things like that promotes it, that is the soil that child molestation thrives in. That needs to be understood. They've proven definitively that they are not capable of sound judgment when left on their own devices, and they're supposed to be obeying God through me anyway, because I'm the top martial artist ever possible. Due to tech breeding, cheating, and generational ill-gotten gains, no one can ever surpass what I've accomplished. Okay, because they've been controlling breeding, they've been sabotaging people's groups and individuals. It reached a head, and I'm from the core line. Kuro Obi means black belt. Obi is my tribe, Igbo spelled backwards, and Obi is a word in the Igbo language meaning king, heart, essence, center, temple, core. I'm the king of kings, the king of martial arts especially. This is key here. It goes far beyond Van Damme and Steven Seagal and Chuck Norris and Michael J. White and Wesley Snipes. It goes far beyond the MMA, far beyond that, far beyond the churches. They owe me the admiration and the respect to not shun me, to not date pedophiles and their allies and their staff and their subordinates and people who are in submission to their cultures, okay, instead of me. They owe me that by far. And they even came up with the straw man of the incel argument because the world is run by Satanists. And so the foundation found alpha shun, consideration, consider alpha shun, plantation, plant alpha shun. The A is alpha, right? The wordplay lines up with what we see going on. So point number 5, I'm going over time, so let's finish this. They did not even try to judge by the content of the character and often have a financial imperative. I've never met an attractive female in my life, my 42 years on this planet, or even heard of one that is a 7 to 10, that most people would agree with that. Because I've dated some pretty attractive females, but most people wouldn't agree that they're 7 to 10. No offense to anybody. I've never even heard of that. They don't date by the content of the character. They've been bred to date the governing class and the people they reward. And these are bad, horrible people. And they have their patriarchal genes. And as a result, they don't date by the content of the character. They date based on money and social norms. Point number 6. One wouldn't pick up a poisonous snake instead of their child from daycare. So why should they choose the tail-tucked, scared, controlled opposition conformists over the morally mighty man of God? So when you see that occur, they're sick. If someone picks up a poisonous snake instead of their kid from daycare and say, hey, you don't need to pick up your kid, just pick up the snake, right? They're sick. And for the same reason, for a similar reason, if they choose these conformists over me, we know that they're sick. And the conformists are jealous because they're cheating me out of my right to lead, out of they're suppressing me and persecuting me instead of making me famous. Why would you do that unless you're jealous? So don't think that I'm jealous. They're jealous. I'd rather be me any day than them. By far, infinitely by far. Point number 7. There are more females in higher education than males, and this overkills the content of the character argument. Point number 8, the domino effect. Someone like me, is at risk of choosing a prostitute, of being catfished and, killing themselves. All kinds of things happen when attractive females throw the most righteous man and the most romantic man ever possible under the bus. They should be held accountable, and they should run, not walk, to obey God through me. If you don't know I'm right, man, you are sick as it gets. Point number 9. The Abraham faiths all teach that martyrdom is the path of the righteous. This is at odds with the church's narratives. This is at odds with people who put money and social norms first. It's 1 John 2:15. You can't serve God and money, on and on and on. Okay. Point number 10. Okay, that's key here because they have no excuse. If it would get them killed to date me, they should still date me. And that's key. All the Abrahamic faiths, majority of people in the world have an Abrahamic faith. They should know that already. They have no viable counter-argument regardless of their faith. Because of the nature of white, Jewish, and LGBT supremacy, Okay, there's an obvious and potent moral imperative on top of everything else for them to date me. Heaven's mandate.